Alright guys, another track guide here. This one, Lime Rock Park, both chicanes. Oh god. Alright, this one's going to be a nightmare. This is going to be really bad. So, the goal here is to survive. Like, the meme from, I believe that's for Call of Duty, Objective Survive. Uh, and so we'll talk a little bit about how to survive, but first let's go through the actual track, okay? So, as we see here, um, coming down the front stretch. And so our brake marker here is somewhere between like the 2.5, maybe the 3, like if you're being pretty conservative, but right before the 2 is pretty good. And what you'll notice is if you can you see my gear? No. Let me go to cockpit view. Is I immediately downshift, right? Like right there. And what downshifting does is A, helps blow your motor, but in the Mustang, you can't do that. I mean, like you can, it's really hard though. What it does is help use your rears to slow down the car. So really try to downshift early. That's going to get the rears to catch a little bit, and it's going to slow you down a lot better. So as we go into these corners, our goals are pretty simple. Double apex, double hitting the curb, and that means we have to kind of push out just a little bit, right? And so, yeah, hit the curb, push out, and so this is like the middle of the curve, if you will, and look how far away I am. But I'm completely off the gas, I'm completely off the brake, I'm just kind of gliding and allowing my car to come back to the track. So, turn in, right? We're braking, we're turning in, but then, like, once I'm here, look at my inputs. A slight little bit of gas, and now I'm back on the gas. What that does is allow me a straighter run here into the next corner. Okay, so if you're holding this inside, if you're all the way here the whole time, you're going way too slow. You got to carry a little bit more speed out. Now, of course, this is dangerous because it's a big long sweeper and corner. So that means if you touch anywhere here, guess what? Around we go into like barriers or you spin out or whatever. So double apex. I don't know. I don't want to say it's easy, but like once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And then even though we track out to this curb, our goal is going to be to, again, try to make this as wide as we can. So you got to get over really quick. Okay. I didn't even get over all the way. You don't have to, but you don't want to stay over here. If you're staying over here, diving it in, you're going to be sacrificing way too much corner on corner exit. Notice that there's no curbing here at all. That is like an indication that you should not be on this line. Even though like right here is about halfway point of the corner, still really wide and cutting in towards the curb. All right. So hit the curb all the way there. Again, if you're inside here, you're going to be pushing wide, carrying way too much speed, and then you're going to be slow because the car is going to be here. And then how are you going to make that corner? So this is just a nice complex, and this is like such an amazing sector to learn how to do connected corners. This is the anti-Laguna Seca, which is why Lime Rock Park is such a good track, right? You have to be able to set yourself up to immediately get over so that you can have a nice wide arc here to hit this, to stay inside. Look how far left I am, right? You can even be farther over to give yourself a better exit, right? And carrying this out. Again, this is the danger. You touch this, into the barrier you go, then you're going to bounce out, you're going to wreck everyone, I'm going to laugh at you. As we come into this corner, this is not flat, except for in like perfect scenarios, which means you're like all the way to the left, it's perfect grip, blah, 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 blah. Half throttle and modulate your throttle. If you feel like you're going too slow, don't yank the wheel harder. Just give it a little bit more gas. If you're going too fast, like don't slam on the brakes. Just, a little bit less throttle. Halfway through, once you're good, let that thing open up. Let that, what is it? It's 5.0, right? 5.0 breathe. And then as we come in here, you're going to notice a little itty bitty peak in, it's actually easier to see back here, like a little point. Okay, so that's going to be a very conservative brake marker. I try to use the back of my car. Like when the back of my car hits that, that's when I jump on the brakes. Okay, and then using this curb as much as we can. Again, just trying to make the car as wide as possible. Now, this is a pretty good one. I do jump over that curb. What can happen though is these curbs, I swear, are like half RNG. You can go over it like that, not lose any time, maybe even be like, I don't know, quicker than normal, and no big deal. But one time you're going to go over it, whether it's this curb's really bad because it's going to push you out here, and then you're going to miss that curb. And you're either going to, I don't know, monster truck over it, hit your oil pan, fly away, or you're going to go through here, get a slowdown, rejoin, wreck someone else, which, you know, fuck it, do it. Everyone else does. Anyways, so even though I took a ton of curb here, I have damage off, and after this I pit. This was optional damage, and the next lap I actually bent my steering from it. So do be careful on these curbs. And I know that we have damage off in the league, obviously, but we don't have damage off. We have damage healing. So if you hit that super hard and you bend your suspension and then you can't turn, you cause a wreck, that's because we still have damage on, just very short period of time. Yeah, so as we come through here, all right, this is a chaos corner. And here's the thing, there's a different line for passing someone, and then there's a different line for just like running. So we'll talk about the passing line in a different video. I'm just going to make a clip and upload it, not post it to YouTube. But here, what you want to do is there's a crack in the line. Again, I try to use the back of the car as a conservative braking spot. And definitely before this line that kind of cuts off the main course. Now, if you do use these brake markers, be warned, if you are here in cockpit view and you're like, oh, there's the crack, I see it, that's not a big deal. If there's a car right here in the way, you're not going to be able to see that. So that's up to you. Like, find your own brake marker, especially for traffic. And what we want to do is go really wide here. You'll notice that this is not a double apex. It kind of is, but like, here's the apex point. We want to be super wide so that we can cut this. We want to keep that as narrow as possible. Why? Because we have to be to the right to take this flat out. Because this corner right here is absolutely insane when it comes to slowdowns. If you get, I mean, it doesn't seem like it, especially when you watch full speed, but this is dangerously close to a slowdown penalty. If the center of my car, if this logo is right here, this is a slowdown. Or, well, actually, this is an off track, and this is a slowdown. And the slowdown is brutal. It's like 3 seconds. And 3 seconds when you're going essentially from 50 miles an hour to trying to slow down when everyone else is hauling ass behind you is really, really difficult. So, again, try to take it wide. Stay way out here. You don't need to go to the white line. You can be a little bit wider than me for sure, but as long as we're trying to line this up, and when we look at the cockpit view, it's hard to see if you have a single monitor, right? Like, it's way over there, and you don't even see the second corner until now. So just try to take it as wide as possible. Again, any time that we're in these complex corners, half throttle, right? We're really trying to maintain pace. We're trying not to lose speed, right? Keep our speed up, but we're not trying to gun it. And then this last corner is pretty easy if you get it right. Think of, I don't know, the last turn of Orin, or the left-hand U-turn on Bathurst, where if you're on the inside all the way, there's a lot of grip. But if you start pushing out here, it loses its camber, and you just have no grip, and you're going to fly away. So really, really, really aggressive on your turn-in. That will allow you to maintain that momentum. I do not believe that this is flat for the first lap, and maybe not even for the second lap. So really, really, really make sure that if you're doing this lap 1, lap 2, or just in practice qualifying, etc., that you're lifting here. Because if you have to lift right here, and this is important, if you have to lift on corner exit and there's a car right behind you, he's going to hit you, you're going to spin off into the pits, you're going to get a slowdown penalty, you're going to be like, oh, can you clear black flag? And Austin's going to be like, why? You'll be like, because it's got hit into the pits. I got speeding. He's going to be like, no. serve your penalty and cry. But yeah, that's why we want to make sure that we are not doing like unexpected things on corner exit. We don't want to be hit right here at all. Like, yeah, that's the goal. So definitely, if you have to, lift right here. Don't lift on the front side. Or what you really should be doing, if you're just kind of cautious, is, as usual, hitting half throttle right here, right? If we can hit half throttle, maintain, and then go, it's going to be a lot easier for the car behind to realize what's up and try to make corrections to protect themselves. So overall, it's a cool track. So these lap times are pretty fast, probably compared to what we'll do in the race. I think was it the AI race that I bent my suspension? But what did I do wrong here? Oh, that's what I did. I spun out. Okay. This is something I want to show you guys. So I just am too aggressive. I'm like really whipping the car around. You can see the wheel inputs here. You can see I'm sliding around, especially your early laps doing this. It's hard to catch. It's really hard to catch. So really try to keep this as far inside as you can. Don't jump into the crash like I did. Be farther left. Carry a little bit of speed into it. And this will be a lot easier. Just try not to overcook it on exit. But yeah, that's a lap guide for Lime Rock Park. Like I said, there's going to be some other videos related to the actual racing, not just the driving. So check those out. They'll be in the Discord as well. And yeah, like I said, this race is going to be just about surviving traffic, but also not over driving the car like this. It's easy to be like, oh, I'm a 10th up by staying flat right here. A 10th up over 20 laps is 2 seconds. This right here, minimum. Let's pretend I just whip it around. There's no traffic. I can get right in. Minimum 8 seconds. So that's the risk that you're trying to create, right? Saving a 10th of a second by being flat, and then you're burning your tires. You're being dangerous. You're going to cause a wreck. And even if you don't cause a wreck, overall, you're going to be slower. So try to be smooth. Try to get some laps in. And when I say get laps in, that means if you join practice, don't go hot lapping for quick lap. Try to put in as many laps as you can so you can feel the tires as they're fresh and cold, as they're fresh and hot, and then as they kind of die off. And then keep doing that. Long runs are really important. That's going to help your racecraft. That's going to help you finish higher rather than just qualifying higher. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you have any questions, just let me know.